Good afternoon. I'm Dana Hope, Trinidad Civic Club President, and on behalf of the Trinidad Civic Club and all of the other participants who have made this day possible, I would like to welcome you to the 23rd Annual Trinidad Memorial Lighthouse Ceremony. On January 10th, the Memorial Lighthouse, along with the most recent Lost at Sea plaque, as well as the historic 1898 Lighthouse Bell, were moved due to coastal erosion to the Trinidad Harbor on property owned by the Chure Heights Indian community of the Trinidad Rancheria. Plans are currently underway to create a new memorial site, which will include the lighthouse, the historic bell, the memorial plaques, a new flagpole, and the World War II Danforth anchor recovered from Trinidad Bay, as well as the accompanying plaque dedicated on May 30th, 1970, which reads, "In loving memory to those who perished at sea. They shall live forever in our hearts." If you would like additional information and wish to contribute to the Memorial Lighthouse Fund, please see your program or visit the lovely Civic Club members adorned in red aprons. We have come here today to honor those who, although they are no longer with us in body, we trust are here with us in spirit, and we know are in our hearts. Ladies and gentlemen, please rise as McKinleyville Boy Scout Troop 99 and Girl Scouts from the Redwood Service Unit conduct the flag ceremony, as well as leading us in the Pledge of Allegiance.
Boys and Girl Scouts, attention. Audience, please rise.
Color Guard, attention.
Audience, please remove your hats.
Color Guard, advance.
Color Guard, prepare to present the colors. Scout salute.
Color Guard, present the colors.
Color Guard, prepare to raise the colors. Color Guard, raise the colors. Audience, please join me in the Pledge of Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
2. Color Guard, dismissed.
Boys and Girl Scouts, dismissed.
The Reverend Lesley McCloghrie, Priest Associate at Saints Martha and Mary Episcopal Mission here in Trinidad, will now offer an invocation.
Let us pray. Eternal God, who alone spreads out the heavens and rules the raging of the seas, we gather today to remember all your servants who went to sea and never returned, and those whose bodies were committed to the deep. Our hearts are full of the memories of them, our family, our friends and comrades. We give you thanks for their lives and their labors, knowing that they are now safe in your loving, eternal embrace. Grant to those who mourn this day and in the days to come, peace and comfort. Make them secure in the knowledge that those we love but no longer see now sail with you. We ask also that you receive into your protection all those who go down to the sea in ships and occupy their business on the great waters. Preserve them both in body and soul. Prosper their labors with good success. In all times of danger be their defense, and bring them to the haven where they would be, O Lord, our Maker and Protector. Amen.
Vocalist Claire Bent will now share her rendition of Amazing Grace and Aloha Oi.
Amazing grace, how sweet the sound that saved a wretch like me. I once was lost, but now am found, was blind, but now I see. 'Twas grace that taught my heart to fear, and grace my fears relieved. How precious did that grace appear the hour I first believed. Aloha, aloha, ke ona ona no ikalipo, one fond embrace, ahoy, hi-ho, until we meet again. Amazing grace, aloha, until we meet again.
At this time, I would like to invite United States Coast Guard Representative Captain Gregory Fuller, Commander, Sector Humboldt Bay, to commemorate the servicemen and women who have dedicated their lives to protecting our community and our country.
Good afternoon. It's truly an honor to be here today with you to recognize and remember those we have lost to the sea here on the rugged, beautiful, and always unforgiving Lost Coast. I've often thought about what drives people to be part of such a hazardous profession, and I feel it's not so much a job or profession as a calling. we in the Coast Guard here share in that same calling, are exposed to the same harsh environment, and share in having lost shipmates and loved ones. I look at a memorial every day at work for 3 helicopter crews that never made it back to their loved ones. That is a stark reminder of the hazards we expose to on a daily basis. I want to personally thank all of you for supporting and welcoming our Coast Guard family as part of your family. Thank you.
The following poem, The Lightkeeper, written by Robert Louis Stevenson, will be read by our Memorial Lighthouse historian, Patti Fleschner.
The Lightkeeper. The brilliant kernel of the night, the flaming light room circles me. I sit within a blaze of light, held high above the dusky sea. Far off the surf doth break and roar along the bleak miles of moonlit shore, where through the tides the tumbling wave falls in an avalanche of foam and drives its churned waters home up many an under cliff and cave.
Trinidad Mayor Susan Rotwein will now conduct the ringing of the Trinidad Head Lighthouse Keeper's Cottage bell. In honoring tradition, it will be rung 12 times. Janine Volkmar, our recording secretary, will now read the names of the 244 loved ones engraved on the memorial plaques. We are here today to memorialize those whose final resting place has become the sea.
Lost at Sea. ASM 3, James Glenn Keynes. Lieutenant Jeffrey Francis Crane. Roy Lee Edwards. Randall Kevin Fleschner. Richard H. Gustafson. Stephen Michael Hall. Kim Allen Harnden. James B. Harris. AD3 Richard Lee Hughes. Jerry Arlen Jensen. C. Scott Kingery. Dean Harlan Kirkpatrick. George Cleaser. Rex Randall McDonald. Douglas Carl Medoc. Vladek Milushev. Lieutenant J.G. Brian Drew Myers, U.S. Navy. Lieutenant J.G. Richard C. Perfetti. Lieutenant Mark R. Polmeyer, U.S. Navy. Chief A.L.C. Teddy Smith. Charles Brian Snell. John E. Sourwine. Lieutenant J.G. Charles Walter Thigpen IV. Buried at Sea. John K. Asen. Jim Allen. Joe F. Alonzo. Mary R. Alonzo. Robert F. Baker. Muriel E. Baker. Josephine Helen Bauer. Wilva Willie Bugler.
James Webb Bugler, Jr. Tawana LaShawn Webb Bledsoe. Russell K. Bowden, U.S. Navy. Robert F. Brazier. George James Brennan. Thomas Lee Brinkerhoff. Joshua Brown. Diane Bo Boucher. Charles N. Bullard. Ida C. Dolly Bullard. Thomas H. Tom Bullard. Carl J. Busey. William E. Butler, Jr. Lawrence C. Butler, U.S. Navy, retired. Walter Earl Butterfield, Jr. Ruby S. Byrne. Arliss W. Cadd. G. Birch Calkins. Kyle Thomas Campbell. Philip Russell Carlisle. Faye Diller Carpenter. Walter E. Carpenter. Ann B. Carr. Shane Teagan Stewart Cavey. Chris Elmer F. Christensen, Jr. Emma Lee Clark. Mary Monica Rauhauser Clark. Virgil D. Clark. Ira Ace Clester. John A. Colbert, M.D. Hazel L. Collins. Catherine E. Costa. Donald John Cox. James H. Dement. May Dean Davidson. Maurice Edward Davidson. Michelle S. Dern. Merle A. Doggett, U.S. Navy. Barton Leroy Duncan. Lita Mae Dunn. Robert F. Dutton. Robert Wayne Elkins. Wendy Steinkamp Ewald. Rosemary Zebo Farrar. Mary Bernice Faulkner. Eldon R. Fetters. Amanda D. Forbes. Elmer Bud Forbes. Douglas A. Forbes. Georgia Tiny Fullwider. Stephen D. Galambas. Deanna Garahan Garcia. Susan B. Gassman. Margie Sarah Stewart Goodwin. William Ralph Goodwin. Doris June Goucher. Lyman Roby Goucher. Howard W. Grass. Bruno Groth. Alvin C. Grotzman. James Harold Gullett. David Wade Hallmark. Joellen Hallmark. Robert John Hallmark. Roger B. Hardizan. Joe V. Harris. Lorene J. Harris. Carl Susie He. Christopher J. He. Evelyn May He. Charles F. Henry. Lucille A. Henry. Leroy Herr. James L. Hills. Lorraine F. Hills. Mark A. Hills. Matthew S. Hills. Mel Hoff. Alva Ray Skeet Holloway, Bobby Joe Bob Holloway, Charles W. Horniker, Ralph Hudson Jr., Thomas Humphrey Jr., Ann L. Iverson, Herman A. Iverson, Esther E. Jackson, Everett F. Jackson, Warden Colleen Jaeger, William W. Jenkins, U.S. Navy, Raymond Knapp, Thomas Knapp, Rosemary Lampy, Leona Lesher, Philip W. Lavelle, Mary Rose Lavelle, Elmer Lindy Lindbergh, Donald Herbert Little, Louise Lindgren Little, Anne B. Lutz, Faith Diane Fox Margolis, Francis Mastry, Lawrence McCarty, James A. McCormick, Captain Eugene E. McCloghrie, U.S. Coast Guard, retired. Gertrude Gertie McGahey, Verlin Buck McGahey, David Roller McKenzie, Harry G. Meade, Zulette Teat Meade, Bob Meacham, Ann Coster Miller, John Paul Miller, Paula Nanette Miller, Mary Ellen Showers Monroe, Rita Morton, Don Michael Mulkins, Sergeant Christopher W. Mullally, U.S. Army, Bobby Dean Myers, Gertrude Gigi Hannah Nash, Marion Krug O'Brien, Dan O'Gara, Roger L. Olson, James R. Omar, Helen Stanley Opegard, Melvin M. Opegard, M.L. Pat Patterson, Thelma W. Patterson, Norma H. Paw, W.L. Bill Peets, Donnie I. Penn, Corrine J. Petty, Jean Pettyjohn, Ralph Pettyjohn, Christina E. Plone, Frank B. Plummer, Carla Peterson Powell, Eugene P. Randall, Glenn N. Reardon, Greta C. Reardon, Jack R. Rauhauser, Philip R. Rauhauser, Martin Clifford Rial, Clarence Tiny Reeves, Jr., U.S. Navy, Frederick Kip Reeves, Carl Silvius Rapogal, Jean L. Rich, Larry Wayne Richardson, Betty Opegard Ritter, Robert D. Roberts, Aloha Marie Roberts Sanford, Eugene Debs Robin, M.D., Jane Noble Robin, George F. Rodden, Anne M. Rodden, R.C. Pinky Roger, CPO 9 Jack John Romano, U.S. Navy, Jerry Craig Ross, Scott Andrew Ross, Pablo Augustine Casimir Rotter, Jesse A. Reese, Lorraine Follett Ruprecht, Leanna Amber Ruth, Frank C. Rise, Joyce Rise, Bernard L. Sanders, Eunice M. Sanders, Claudine B. Sanford, Frank Wallace Sanford, Glenn Walter Saunders, Janice J. Saunders, Dennis G. Sawyer, Andrew Scott, Delia Reen Sears, Forrest R. Sears Sr., Forrest Randy Sears Jr., William H. Jerry Sellover, Helen V. McLean Sellover, John Gordon Sequist, Harvey K. Sharp, Fred J. Shipman, Dovia Schuler, Ernest George Schul. Velma Nicholas Schul, Mary Louise Lavelle Shoemate, Deidre Smith, Bruce M. Smith, U.S. Navy, Meredith A. Smith, Elsie M. Spoor, Robert E. Spoor, Sr., Ronald Aaron Spoor, Arthur L. Stegeman, Bernice W. Stegeman, Jacqueline Lee Stiver, Merrill M. Stiver, Lars Barnett Strati, Paul B. Strati, Melissa Lee Tarantino, Beverly Ann Valentine, Robert Neal Valentine, Albert H. Vermeer, Johanna Vermeer, Don Van Vliet, William E. Voss, Lyle M. Walker, Jennifer S. Warner Montero, Lawrence James Weathers, David Edward Webb, Preston I. Wilson, Mary Ann Wilson, Gerald V. Wright, Dave Zebo, David Michael Zebo, Desi Johnson Zebo.
We are so grateful to all of the behind-the-scenes contributors, workers, and donors whose time, energy, talents, and assistance have made the preservation of the Trinidad Memorial Lighthouse possible. We wish to thank Memorial Lighthouse Secretary Joan Baker for arranging today's ceremony, as well as Memorial Lighthouse historian Patti Fleschner, and Trinidad Civic Club Recording Secretary Janine Volkmar for their participation. Jason Ritchie for creating our program, Gary Stillman for his loving dedication in caring for our grounds, Charles Haddock for sharing his drawings of our memorial lighthouse and our historic bell, our gifted musicians Matthew Marshall and Matthew Brogdon, the Trinidad Civic Club Wreath Committee, Lena Macy, Martha Sue Davis, Suzanne Itea, Penny Ross, Amanda Nelson, and Hayden Fulton, our photographer Jackie Tidwell, DJ Kev for providing sound, Ian from McIntyre Film Productions for filming today's ceremony, and Sun Valley Floral Farms for their generous flower donations. Very special thanks to Tom and Ann Odom for many years of dedicated service, love, and devotion to this sacred memorial site. The Trinidad Memorial Lighthouse was built by the Trinidad Civic Club as a replica of the 1871 Trinidad Head Lighthouse and was dedicated on this site June 26, 1949. This land was donated by Earl and Neva Hallmark to house the 1871 Fourth Order Fresnel oil lantern, the last coal oil burning revolving light retired from use on the Pacific coast, which was previously housed in the Trinidad Head Lighthouse. The United States Coast Guard placed this lens in the Memorial Lighthouse when an electric lens was installed in the original lighthouse in 1947. The 1942 Fifth Order Fresnel electric lens has been on permanent loan to the Trinidad Museum since 2013, when an LED lens was installed at the Trinidad Head Lighthouse. The LED lens is observable 20 miles out to sea. Our 4,000-pound 1898 bronze fog bell was also placed at this site in 1949. Previously, it too was located on Trinidad Head. This occurred when the fog warning system on Trinidad Head became automated. The Trinidad Museum cordially invites everyone to view the Fresnel electric lens, as well as learn more about the history of this site and the surrounding sacred land. Current exhibits include historical architecture of Trinidad, working baskets of Northwest coast cultures, including Yurok, Karuk, Hupa, and Wiyot. And in honor of Memorial Day, the new exhibit in the Heritage Room titled We Are Patriots, a commemoration of the end of World War I in 1918 and the Trinidad area veterans who served. The museum is open until 4 o'clock. We thank you for joining us here today.
One fond embrace, ahoy, hi, how, until